Well, this is 2 hours that I can't get back. And usually I would have music in the background and that would actually just kind of fit the vibe. But I'm going to be honest, this movie doesn't even deserve that. I actually sat down and watched Thor Love and Thunder with Irvin, and I regret every bit of it. This movie was bad, not because of bad CG like She Hulk. It had great locations, great CG in some parts, but there was a lot of annoying amounts of comedy in this. The comedy was practically plaguing the scenes that should have been serious. And it just didn't stop. It just kept going to a very annoying degree. And Taika Waititi, that works for your indie films. That even worked for Thor Ragnarok when everyone kept saying it's refreshing. Even though it wasn't. It was a refreshing glass of crap. That's kind of what it was to me. That worked there, but it didn't work here, which really shows that this guy is a one hit wonder. Valkyrie wasn't even used to her highest potential. I'm not even going to go into the whole King part. Because it will be like an hour long for this entire video, which is what I don't want. But the thing is, Valkyrie wasn't really used to her highest potential. We really didn't see her as king, or in my case, in my humble opinion, queen, which is not a bad title. But anyway, we didn't really see her as a royal. We didn't really see what she did for her people over time. We didn't really see her as a quote unquote king. Because usually when you are when you're royalty, or when you are announced as queen or king, you have a duty to your people. And that has to show. We didn't see that. The same thing with Gore the God Butcher. And I think that's the biggest offense. And I think that's Marvel's biggest offense, is that they tell you but don't show you. When you have a credible threat like Gore the God Butcher, we need to see what he can do. Not just a few minutes in the beginning before the actual credits. You have to show us why he's a threat. Not tell us he's a threat, but show us he is a threat. That was their biggest mistake. Christian Bale is probably one of the best actors that I have ever seen on screen. This guy can play an amazing villain. He can play an amazing hero. Gore the God Butcher is a credible villain. We should have seen something, but we didn't see much. Not to mention some scenes that Gore the God Butcher was in, he acted more like the Joker than any type of character that was just full of anger. It was odd in some scenes, especially with the kids, which didn't make any sense for him to keep him that long, especially when he got what he wanted. But it was sad how underutilized he was as a villain. Thor was a complete idiot the entire time. Am I really surprised? Not really. The sad part is the first Thor movie, I hated. But at least it had some sort of a beginnings of an arc. Thor the Dark World had a major arc with him. And it ended with Thor Ragnarok. Only for everything to be retconned that easily and that quickly. And now he's a complete boob again. Jane Foster, I was never a big fan of hers because she didn't really earn anything. It kind of, in my humble opinion, her romance with Thor was more of a CW romance. You're hot, I'm hot, let's make out. That's pretty much what it was. There was no connection at all with them. And I think that's Natalie Portman's issue with most men that she's casted with. She has no chemistry with them. And it shows. She didn't have much chemistry with Thor at all. I mean, with Chris Hemsworth at all. And it showed, at least to me. I don't think she earned the respect of Mjolnir. I don't know how she was able to earn the respect of Mjolnir for being gone for so long. It just seemed like that Mjolnir just felt bad for her because she had cancer. So here, have some powers. That's just kind of how I saw it. The fact that she was a mighty Thor for this long, and then the fact that she, of course, we all know what happened to her. But the thing is, I know people were like mad that she died. I'm like, look, I'm going to be honest with you. It was done far better in the comics than it was in the MCU. Far better. And I don't even like the character. But when I actually did read some sections that Irvin showed me about Jane Foster, I honestly had a lot of respect for her when she died. I had a lot of respect for her. But here, I didn't. I didn't even care. I didn't even bat an eye. And with the chemistry, and I know a lot of people are like, well, they finally explained the love story between both of them. That's something they should have done in the beginning. We should have seen some sort of connection between both of them in the beginning. And we didn't. So why would I care? Why would I care for some meaningless exposition that should have started in the beginning? To where it should have been a foundation of what we know about them as a couple. I honestly didn't care. Not at all. And also the fact that you have to die in battle in order to go to Valhalla. Okay, Heimdall didn't. He was there. We didn't even see him fight in Infinity War. He was already on the ground. But somehow he's there. Odin didn't fight, and somehow he just vanished. He just went to Valhalla. Okay. And Frigga actually did fight. She's the only one that deserves to be up there. But Jane didn't. She was actually in that eternity portal. She was in there with eternity. She didn't fight when she died. She just died in Thor's arms. But somehow she's in Valhalla. Okay, that makes plenty of sense. All right, sure. And then for the post-credit scene, which I think was even worse, is the fact that you're going to show us Hercules and it's this puny guy with barely any muscles. Really? You couldn't find anybody that could match that stature. You couldn't find anybody that could match the strength of Hercules, or looks like he could be Hercules. You couldn't find anybody? Come on. And what's even worse is fat Russell Crowe just going down there being all boisterous when he used to be Gladiator. I'm sorry. I've seen The Gladiator at least 4 times. Amazing movie. That guy deserves every ounce of praise for that film. He was a lot more serious then than he is now. And I guess the older you get, the less you care. Maybe that's how it is with him. And yeah, can we say that I'm the whole time when Chris Hemsworth's butt was on the screen? Really? Y'all, come on. If they did that to a woman, everybody would be up in arms. But dude, it's okay. All right, whatever. But at the end of the day, this movie really didn't have much to go on. It really didn't. There was a lot of plot issues in this film that bugged me. And not only that, the soundtrack was even more confusing. Why in the world would you have an 80s backdrop for the outro, as well as the music? It didn't make any sense. It made sense for Guardians of the Galaxy. Why? Because that was Peter Quill's identity. He was abducted during the 80s. I don't think it was the 80s. I think it was maybe the 70s or 60s. Either or, the era that he was in, that mixtape that his mom made for him represented the era that he was in when he was abducted. That is the memories of his mom. That was his foundation right there. The soundtrack made no sense whatsoever. As great as it is to hear Guns N' Roses, it made no sense to hear Guns N' Roses. I'm sorry, it just didn't. I never thought that I would actually say this, but She-Hulk had far more substance than this film. And for those who haven't seen my review, y'all know how much episode 3 broke me. But to be honest with you, it had promise. Episode 1 had promise. Episode 2 had some promise. It had some substance to it, especially seeing how the repercussions of being a Hulk could lead you. It proved his point. It had some promise in episode 2. But episode 3, yeah, it did go off the rails. But it had something. This movie had absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. This movie was absolutely baffling. It just baffled me. And not only that, it was confusing. it was not a good movie to watch. I would not even watch it twice. But there are some people who are going to like this film. There are some people who think, oh, this film was great. You know what? To each his own. But I think it's a big old steaming pile of garbage, and I will never watch it again.